Good afternoon and salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching updates at noon with me, Renee Fong. Making the headlines today, special task force to study and propose institutional reform. Better foreign relations and new policies vital for economic recovery. The Dewan Rakyat today was told that a special institutional reform task force has been established last month to study and propose institutional reform, which will later decided by the Cabinet. The government had also conducted institutional reform workshop involving government agencies, civil society organisation as well as NGOs.
Kerajaan Perpaduan memandang serius agenda reformasi institusi ini dan akan mengambil tindakan yang tuntas bagi merealisasikan agenda ini. Kerajaan akan memastikan sebarang reformasi yang dilaksanakan ini dengan mengambil kira pandangan semua pihak yang berkepentingan. Terima kasih.
Datuk Seri Fadilah said this when answering question by Indra Mahkota Member of Parliament Datuk Seri Saifuddin Abdullah. He added that the special task force is chaired by Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Laws and Institutional Reform, Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said. The process of economic recovery is vital in ensuring the stability of a country. Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Zamri Abdul Kadir said this includes rebuilding better relations and new policies with other countries.
Kita dapat melihat bagaimana perspektif pandangan-pandangan yang positif yang diberikan oleh negara-negara luar kerana mereka melihat kedudukan Malaysia pada hari ini dengan sejumlah bilangan ahli-ahli parlimen yang memberikan sokongan yang baik kepada negara dan dengan adanya 148 kerusi itu telah memberikan satu kekuatan dan keyakinan kepada pihak luar.
Speaking after attending the Bicara Narrative program in Angkasapuri last night, Datuk Seri Zamri said the strength and support of all cabinet members in rebuilding the country has brought good impacts. In fact, he said the people would want to see a functioning government that is working as a team in ensuring the stability of the country. Autogate facilities to deal with the arrival and departure of foreign visitors at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport KLIA will be open during the peak period. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said 10 autogates for foreign visitors at the arrival hall will be open from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. to reduce congestion at KLIA.
Kita sedia maklum bahawa pintu masuk utama negara sepenting KLIA ini, security clearance dia bukan saja kita design untuk tujuan cop pasport biasa, tetapi juga ada beberapa elemen pemeriksaan yang lain kerana aspek keselamatan tidak pernah kita abaikan. Dan tadinya saya dapat menyaksikan sendiri travelers dari Jepun, dari England, dari Australia, itu 4 travelers yang pertama yang memulakan pembukaan autogate.
Speaking to the media after observing the autogate facilities at KLIA, Datuk Seri Saifuddin said the initiative was taken by the Immigration Department for the comfort of visitors. He said the autogate facilities could be used by foreigners from 10 low-risk countries, namely the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, Brunei and Saudi Arabia. He explained that the decision in determining the 10 countries was made based on the cost-benefit analysis, taking into account the extension of the autogate facilities will benefit about 855,000 visitors, or 27.1% of the total foreign visitors entering Malaysia. provision of subsidies for chicken eggs will continue until June 2023, involving a total cost of 1.28 billion ringgit. Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security (KPKM) said the cabinet reached an agreement to continue subsidizing chicken eggs at its meeting on 17th February. In a statement, it said this step is being taken to ensure that the supply of chicken eggs in the country remains stable, while the study on the mechanism and policy of targeted subsidies can be finalized soon. KPKM said the need to bring in chicken eggs from abroad will also be reviewed once supply in the country stabilizes. It said the initiative to bring in chicken eggs from outside sources is a temporary measure to ensure that supply in the country remains stable and uninterrupted. KPKM said it constantly monitors the need for the supply of chicken eggs in the market and continues to work with various approaches to ensure that supply in the country is stable as before. Finance Ministry is elated and fully supports the implementation of Payung Rahmah program that aims to alleviate the rakyat's burden. Treasury Secretary General Datuk Johan Mahmud said Rahmah cash aid announced in 2023 budget is part of government's continuous efforts to help the B40 and hardcore poor group.
Beyond that, obviously, we're committed to spending almost 8 billion on the Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah, which is a B40 system. And we've always said it's a B40 assistance, but the number of recipients is actually almost 9 million. It's like 8.7 million, of which about 3 million are couples. So we add that in, we get about 12 million adults effectively benefit from Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah.
Aside from that, Datuk Johan also stated that through Unity Government's transparent and efficient administration, a total of 3 billion ringgit was saved by re-tendering on past projects. He said this in the officiating address of post-2023 budget debate in Kuala Lumpur. 10 major corporations will sign memorandums of agreement MOA with the Unity Government soon to boost its technical and vocational education and training TVET. Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar said the government has decided to enlist the help of corporations as the program currently involves 12 ministries and incurs huge expenses of up to 6.7 billion ringgit, but the graduates produced fail to meet industry needs. According to the minister, the best method in collaborating with the private sector to reduce the burden borne by the government and also solve the problems of mismatching.
Sejak tahun 2019 sehingga ke tahun lepas, Talent Corp telah mengadakan program YES ini kepada 30,000 pelajar, dan saya percaya tahun ini Talent Corp juga boleh melaksanakan sasarannya, iaitu untuk mendekati 6,000 pelajar, dan program ini memang adalah penting sebab untuk memasuki dunia pekerjaan ini memang apa yang diharapkan oleh pihak industri adalah sesuatu yang cukup tinggi. The expectation is very high.
The minister said this after officiating the Young Employable Students YES 2023 workshop organised by Talent Corp Malaysia, Talent Corp in Cyberjaya. He said the YES program takes into consideration of critical jobs list study by Talent Corp that found the biggest challenge faced by local youth in the job market was the disparity between soft skills, including communication, problem solving and critical thinking. Malaysia and the United Kingdom UK have held further discussions on cooperation that both can pioneer in dealing with the issue of human trafficking and forced labour. Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar in a statement said the matter was discussed when Andrew Patrick, the UK's Special Envoy on Migration and Modern Slavery, was on a working visit to Malaysia from 23rd to 25th February. He said Patrick had advised the local rubber glove industry to monitor forced labour practices such as bonded labour elements in their business chain following allegations of employers and especially foreign workers being charged hidden costs during the hiring process. He said the Human Resources Ministry, KSM, shares Patrick's view and will take immediate steps to use blockchain technology for the purpose of monitoring the transparency of the process of hiring foreign workers so that it is free from elements closely related to the conduct of forced labour. Sivakumar said he was informed that the UK had agreed to offer training and capacity building opportunities to the Labour Department offices in Peninsular Malaysia and also Sabah and Sarawak, as well as other enforcement agencies. Coming up next, Bersatu man slapped with another graft charge. Stay tuned. Segambut Bersatu Deputy Chief Adam Radlan Adam Muhammad has been charged again in Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today on a charge of soliciting a bribe of 2 million ringgit relating to a Jana Wibawa project. Adam Radlan, 42, who is also a businessman, pleaded not guilty after the charge was read before Judge Azura Alwi. According to the charge, Adam Radlan was accused of asking for 2 million ringgit in bribe from Lian Tian Chuan as service for the accused to assist Nepturistan and Berhad to obtain the project of the North Klang District Office in Selangor from the Government of Malaysia valued at 141 million ringgit. The offence was allegedly committed at the restaurant in Publica Damansara around January 2022. He was charged under Section 16, Subsection A, Subsection A of the Malaysia Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Act 2009 and can be sentenced under Section 24, Subsection 1 of the same Act, which provides for a maximum prison term of 20 years and a fine of not less than 5 times the value of the bribe or 10,000 ringgit or whichever is higher upon conviction. Farmer Niaga Berhad has posted a net loss of 607.32 million ringgit for the financial year ended 31st December 2022 against a net profit of 172.15 million ringgit in the previous year, with a 552 million ringgit provision for a slow-moving stocks of COVID-19 vaccines. The loss pushed the company under the financially troubled PN17 category. In a filing with Bursa Malaysia, the company said revenue tumbled 27.1% to 3.51 billion ringgit from 4.82 billion ringgit as there was lower demand from the government for the purchase of COVID-19 vaccines. In a separate statement, the company said that due to the accounting treatment pursuant to Malaysia Financial Reporting Standards requirements and Pharma Niaga's good governance practice, the group had to provide for an amount of 552.3 million ringgit on the stock of vaccines. It said that this provision inevitably triggered the criteria of Practice Note 17 PN17 for Pharma Niaga. Pharma Niaga experienced a challenging financial year in 2022, attributed mainly to the provision of the slow-moving stocks of COVID-19 vaccines with shelf life in its inventory. Addressing the matter at hand, the group said that it is currently in talks with various parties, both local and overseas, to purchase the vaccines and is optimistic about favourable outcomes from the negotiations. Up next in the foreign front, Hong Kong drops mandatory mask mandate. Hong Kong will drop its COVID-19 mask mandate in a move to lure back visitors and restore normal life more than 3 years after stringent rules were first imposed in the financial hub. Chief Executive John Lee said the measure will take effect starting tomorrow. The Special Administrative Region of Hong Kong is one of the last places globally that still imposes a mask mandate. Hong Kong and Macau both followed China's zero COVID policy for much of the past 3 years. Hong Kong started unwinding its stringent COVID-19 rules last year, but mask wearing has remained constant since 2020. In high-risk places, such as hospitals, administrators can decide whether to require staff and visitors to wear masks. Hong Kong's move to scrap masks comes after its government this month launched a promotional campaign called Hello Hong Kong to bring back tourists and businesses. The city-state had stuck rigidly to its mask rule, even in schools where children as young as 2 years old were mandated to wear them outside their homes. Students are still required to take daily rapid antigen tests to check for COVID-19, although authorities announced last week that the SOP would be scrapped starting from 1st March for secondary school students and 15th March for primary schools and nurseries. An expert on infectious diseases who has advised the Biden administration on the COVID-19 pandemic played down a report that the U.S. Energy Department has concluded the pandemic likely arose from a Chinese laboratory leak. The Wall Street Journal first reported on Sunday that the U.S. Energy Department had concluded the pandemic likely arose from a Chinese laboratory leak, an assessment Beijing denies. Yesterday, White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said there has not been a definitive conclusion in the U.S. government on the pandemic origins. Some in the scientific community have concluded that the pandemic began as the result of a spillover event, with the virus spreading from animals to human beings. There has also begun speculation that the virus was released from the Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China. The Biden administration has continued to push China for transparency on the issue. Earlier on Monday, the U.S. ambassador to China, Nicholas Burns, said China must be more honest with the origin of the COVID-19 crisis. Despite the Department of Energy's reported conclusions, 4 other U.S. agencies, along with the National Intelligence Panel, still judge that the COVID-19 was likely to result of natural transmission, while 2 are undecided. Canada on Monday decided to impose ban on Chinese-owned social media app TikTok from government-issued devices, saying it presents an unacceptable level of risk to privacy and security. According to the Treasury Board of Canada Secretariat, the country also moved to block federal employees from downloading the application in the future. The statement added TikTok's data collection methods provide considerable access to the contents of the phone. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said the decision may prompt others in Canada to reflect on the security of their own data. TikTok spokesperson said it was disappointed by Canada's decision, as the ban was issued without citing any specific security concerns about the application or getting in touch with the developer to discuss any concerns prior. Canada's federal and provincial privacy regulators are also jointly investigating the app over concerns about the platform's collection, use and disclosure of personal information. Canada's action is another potential thorn in Sino-Canadian relations, which have been tense in recent years for various reasons. Most recently, over accusations by Ottawa that China has tried to influence its elections and that it has been running air and maritime surveillance activities. Beijing denies those allegations and has urged Ottawa to stop what it has described as unwarranted speculation and smearing.
On their work phones,
Tesla Inc. and its chief executive Elon Musk were sued on Monday by shareholders who accused them of overstating the effectiveness and safety of their electric vehicles' autopilot and full self-driving technologies. In a proposed class action filed in San Francisco federal court, shareholders said Tesla defrauded them over 4 years with false and misleading statements on its technologies. They said the company concealed how its technology, suspected as a possible cause of multiple fatal crashes, created a serious risk of accident and injury. Tesla's share price also fell 5.7% on 16th February after National Highway Traffic Safety Administration forced a recall of more than 362,000 Tesla vehicles equipped with full self-driving beta software because they could be unsafe around intersections. Tesla has said it acquiesced to the recall, though it disagreed with NHTSA's analysis. The lawsuit led by shareholder Thomas Lamontag seeks unspecified damages for Tesla shareholders from 16th February 2019 to 17th February 2023. Chief Financial Officer Zachary Kyokon and his predecessor Deepak Ahuja are also defendants. Musk, the world's second richest person, is expected at Tesla Investor Day on 1st March to promote the company's artificial intelligence capability and plans to expand its vehicle lineup. Hundreds gathered in Tel Aviv to demonstrate against recent violence in the West Bank and its Israeli occupation. Earlier on Monday, allegedly Palestinian gunmen killed an Israeli motorist in the occupied West Bank after Jewish settlers rampaged through a Palestinian village. Israel reinforced its West Bank garrisons after two brothers from a Jewish settlement were shot dead on Sunday, triggering a rampage by settlers in which a Palestinian was killed, scores were hurt, and dozens of cars and homes were torched. With the Muslim holy month of Ramadan and Jewish Passover festival weeks away, foreign mediators have sought to tamp down tensions that surged after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu regained power at the head of a hard right coalition. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas's office accused Israel of protecting terrorist acts perpetrated by settlers in the West Bank. Sunday's violence came the same day as talks in Jordan, where Israeli and Palestinian officials reaffirmed the need to commit to de-escalation on the ground. According to Palestinian officials, 63 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces in 2023. The violence follows the deadliest year for Palestinians in the West Bank since at least 2005. Soldiers in a northern Mexican border city allegedly killed 5 unarmed young men who were driving to their homes in a pickup truck. The Nuevo Laredo Human Rights Committee said in a statement the victims were shot on Sunday while driving in the city of Nuevo Laredo near the US-Mexico border before announcing on Monday that it had filed a complaint with federal prosecutors on behalf of the victims and their relatives. A 6th person in the truck survived and was hospitalized with gunshot wounds. A video by Reuters shows the father of one of the deceased, 21-year-old Gustavo Angel Suarez Castillo, saying his son did not carry any guns and that he was an American citizen. Mexico's defense ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Nuevo Laredo Mayor Carmen Lilia Canturrosas on Monday said the army, along with the Attorney General's office and the National Human Rights Commission, are investigating the case and collecting evidence. She added, none of the victims were minors. A spokesman for the U.S. Department of State said it had seen reports that one of the victims was a U.S. citizen, but said it could not confirm that at this time. The rights group in its statement said family members of the victims and a journalist who arrived at the scene were met with a violent response from soldiers. In September, Mexico's Congress gave the army control over the National Guard, a change that drew criticism from rights groups and international bodies, including the United Nations. Still to come in sports. Lionel Messi won the Best FIFA Men's Player prize for 2022 on the back of his World Cup triumph, with Argentina and Spain's Alexia Putellas retained the Women's Award at a ceremony in Paris. Messi beat his Paris Saint-Germain teammate and World Cup final rival Kylian Mbappe to the men's gong, with Ballon d'Or winner Karim Benzema having been the other contender to claim the prize. To combining with Mbappe to lead PSG to a 3-0 win against Marseille in Ligue 1.
And of course,
Meanwhile, Putellas retained the women's prize despite spending the second half of last year out injured. The 29-year-old beat England's European Championship winning striker Beth Mead and United States star Alex Morgan to add the FIFA crown to the Ballon d'Or, which she has also won 2 years running. Putellas is currently recovering. Formula One is going bigger, brighter and brasher this season, with the Las Vegas Strip set to light up a record 23-race calendar and Red Bull's Max Verstappen chasing a third championship in a row. The 25-year-old Dutch driver is favoured for the opener in Bahrain on 5th March, with the short hoping he has a harder time than last year when he won 15 out of 22 races and took the title with 4 rounds to spare. Testing last week at Sakir suggested Red Bull remain on pole, but with Ferrari's 2022 runner-up Charles Leclerc and teammate Carlos Sainz the closest challengers in what will be an intense development battle. If Ferrari, now under the management of French boss Fred Vasseur, get their acts together and the car working to maximum effect, then a first title since 2008 could yet be on the cards. Mercedes have plenty to do if Lewis Hamilton's hopes of becoming Formula One's first 8 times world champion are not to evaporate again. And that ends updates at noon. Wrapping up with a reminder of our top stories: Special Task Force to study and propose institutional reform. Tune in to News at 10 coming up at 10 p.m. on My Freeview saluran Berita RTM channel 123. Or you can stream the channel live on YouTube or RTM's Click web portal and mobile app. I'm Renee Fong. Stay tuned to TV2 and Salam Malaysia Madani.